Welcome back, everyone. Going into the third hour. It's time to go get our fortunes read.
Yeah. So, there's a fortune teller in every town. It's a very important government position, and you can't have one. Like if one dies and there isn't a replacement ready, the town pretty much just like shuts down until it goes into mourning until they can have a new one. This one, the city's fortune teller, her name is Apina, and she serves the court. So you have to go and basically like get to her through them.
Saying that she'll be giving us the gods' opinion
Yeah,
on everything.
yeah, definitely. That's exactly what'll happen. I know. So so you want to I guess we probably start and you're in like a waiting room basically. We can skip the like having to ask for permission and all that because you're magistrates, you get priority, but you do still have to wait until she's available. And after waiting in this like finely appointed room, one of her assistants comes to take you into to the sacred space where she performs her duty. The waiting room itself is like quite lushly appointed. There are like pillows everywhere. It smells very strongly of incense. Everything in here is like given to her or donated to her. She doesn't get paid for her job, but people give her gifts and court her favor. She's kind of a social like big deal. And so she has all this nice like art and everything, and dressed as you are with weapons and armor. I don't know, maybe you feel it. You're certainly a bit out of place. Whether you feel it or not is more up to you. So what's the vibe like before you go in to have your fortune told?
I'm a little nervous because of what the priestess told me. Like, I'm worried that the gods are going to be testing me soon. So I'm a little nervous about my fortune telling that's about to happen.
Okay.
I think I'm usually always excited for this stuff.
Yeah. Belamir's like, let's do this. Because he has more dog barking in his mind, really, than anything. Give me a second.
Yeah, it's fine. The town is full of dogs. It's cool. You hear them outside. So you're brought by a young boy, again wearing like his clothes are fine, right? He's wearing like cloth of gold, and he has like jeweled rings, like a little ruby stud in his nose, and he leads you into her chambers. Now she's not here. She's off somewhere else. She's just finished a reading, and there's this low table meant to be like sat around on the floor. Low table covered in a fine like gold cloth. There's like saffron colored drapes hanging over the windows. The whole place is a little dark, and there are little brass oil lamps that are set up around the outside of the room, casting a very like warm glow into the room. The room itself is actually quite hot. The boy gestures for you to sit on these pillows around the table, and assures you that the Lady Apina will return shortly.
All right, yeah, we sit and wait.
Okay, all right. So you sit and you wait, and it's not long before she returns. You hear the sound of her like a beaded curtain being parted, and she emerges through. You didn't realize there was a door behind one of the cloth hangings, so it moves and she comes inside. Apina is dressed in like amazingly expensive looking clothes. Her outfit alone is worth probably more than any of these farms generate in a year. It's a beautiful blue and purple. She has a veil over her face, like a thin veil, so you can't see anything but her eyes. And she's wearing very dark black makeup around her eyes. She has her hair piled up in a complex hairstyle that would have required someone or multiple someones to help her. And it's pinned with a gold pin with a huge pearl on the end of it. She's holding in her hands a well-worn deck of cards. You've seen these cards in some form or another lots of times throughout your life. And so she walks into the room, and gives you just like the slightest hint of a bow. Like she closes her eyes and like tilts her head forward almost imperceptibly.
I think at least I don't know about the other, but I like also bow to her as a sign of respect.
Okay, yeah. How do the other
Yeah,
two?
Bellamere gives her just a slight like, like that.
Yeah, I bow as well.
So she kneels on her side of the table on this like pillow and sets her deck of cards down, and you can see that they're quite thick. They're probably made of a very thinly carved wood. So they're a thick stack of cards, and they have like signs of heavy use over time, probably passed from person to person. And when she kneels down, she looks at each of you in turn. And she says, "Greetings, magistrates. You seek to know the will of the Arcana?"
Baron, handle this.
Yes, you're about to set off on a very dangerous mission, and we wonder what the gods have in store for us.
Yeah, she nods and she says, "Simple enough. An important time to ask of the gods. Have you," and she gestures kind of like welcomingly. She's like, "Have you had your fortunes read recently?"
It's been a while.
"I see. All the more important then." And she places her hand on the deck of cards and takes them in her hands and starts to shuffle. And there's this, maybe it's the smell of the like sandalwood incense and the heat, the sort of rasping sound as the cards slide against one another as she shuffles them in her hands. It's very hypnotic. Like you can all feel very intensely like the sweat beating on your forehead. The sound seems much louder than you would expect. There's a sort of cloying feeling to the room. And all three of you feel like a little bit dizzy, a little like off balance. And
None of this. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, you feel all of that, but how you respond is up to you. So if you just like shake your head and like grit your teeth, that's a valid response. But yeah, you definitely feel like there's a strange presence here, and
I was just thinking he has more respect for fortune tellers like that are actually approved by the government and all that stuff, and not just some crazy old ratty people charging for courier services.
Yeah, totally. So she tells you, speaking just to the room, and you can hear her voice kind of like echoing, like it feels like the stereo is off. There's a bit of a delay. She says, she kind of like, you can see the hint of a smile in her eyes, and she says, "Just tell me when." And she shuffles the cards. And at some point during the shuffle, all three of you at the same time realize that she needs to stop now. Do you like say something? Do you like put your hand out? How do you respond to that feeling? Like it just clicks. It's like a feeling in your head.
Yeah, I look at the others and I'm just like,
Just now. We just all collective at the same time. Just
Yeah,
burst out now.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah. So she stops and cuts the deck and draws just the card from the top. And let's see what it is.
So it's gonna be on. Okay, you're gonna draw it from there.
Yeah, I'll draw it from here.
Queen of Swords.
She draws the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords, all the sword cards are considered to be in some degree or another like a good omen. Because you're in the Court of Swords, this represents a particular person in your court. And she draws it and again she smiles. She says, "Good fortune today, I think. This is the Queen of Swords. She seeks honesty, forthrightness, a straight path to your goal. If you find yourselves distracted, remember why you are truly here. You are following a higher purpose. Keep this in mind. Rely on your experience, the strength of your mind. These things will take you to prosperity. All else is irrelevant." And and so she picks up the card and shuffles it back into the deck, sets it down next to her, and stands. And it's like she's like you feel something like the tension in the moment sort of like ebb away, and you feel almost a sense of relief, like some pressure has been taken away. And she nods. She gives you that little polite bow, and she says, "When you've completed your mission, magistrates, perhaps I will see you again."
Perhaps.
Okay, so she turns and goes through the curtain again, and you didn't notice. Maybe he was there the whole time, or maybe he's just appeared. Her servant, the boy, he says, "You may rest a moment if you like, or you can go. The waiting room is available to you. The experience can be somewhat taxing." And he gestures for you, like you can stand. He's trying to sort of usher you out of her like performance room.
Yeah, I stand up and leave.
Okay.
I stand up and bow and
just
then
like,
leave.
I wish to rest here.
Yeah, like you're all a little wheezy, like your legs kind of are like trembling a little bit when you stand, but you can kind of push that down, no problem, and like head back in. And so he says to you as you're entering the sort of waiting room, he says, if you wish to make an offering, you may leave it here. I will make sure that the Lady Epinia finds it. Or in the future, if you wish, you can return and bring an offering then. If you have further questions about your reading, seek guidance with the priesthood. We have many shrines in this village. And he smiles at you and then turns his attention to the next people who are waiting. There's a young woman who's like very pregnant and looks kind of nervous, sitting on one of the pillows, and he helps her stand and takes her away.
All right. I think when we're all in the room, I just turn to the two of them and be like, should we really be going on this mission?
I think that either this was a sign that we are taking the right path by helping the town and the village, or as you said, it could mean that we should be going back to the village. Maybe we should seek guidance from a priest.
I mean, a priest will simply say, the fortune teller read our fortunes, and that's how we interpret it. It's up to us. I'm not a priest, though, so maybe I am incorrect.
I would say that everything has been going our way. We got the horses, the man, we have a destination, and we should set out and do what we've been told, and that this will help us along our way. That's what I read into it.
Very well. Velimir, do you wish to weigh in?
I think at the very least, we can do some reconnaissance, see what is to be seen at this location where the cave is, see if it is worth even the effort. And if it is indeed not worth our time, or calamity is the only thing that will befall us, we will leave and attend to our matters.
Fair enough. My only ask is that you teach Plum how to set these traps. These men do not know how to set adequate traps for these creatures, and you caught one, so.
Oh, they survived. Velimir just kind of like, how are they? Like, how do you even survive in these lands? You don't have to set traps.
Is there anything you guys wish to do tonight? I'm simply okay with going back to the inn for now.
I think I'm looking forward to a bath and then a long rest.
You have always favored your baths.
Yes, that's my boots are still soggy from last night.
Velimir, are you doing anything else?
I think I also will take a bath. Not in water, but in fiery embers. Perhaps I will eat some.
I have heard this of your people. Perhaps we should.
Fire genasi are like chinchillas. They just roll around in the dust.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna retire to the inn and be waited on by the innkeeper and staff. Okay. Yeah. Coming out of the fortune teller's house is a bit like coming out of a movie theater in the middle of the day. Everything is a bit like brighter and louder and a little more intense than you remember it before you went in. So you come out and it takes a second to adjust, but you make your way to the inn and spend the rest of the evening resting and recuperating for the next morning. When you wake, I guess we can probably, unless you have something else to do in the town, we can cut to the gates where you're getting your goat situation sorted out.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you meet with Sorrowful Plum at the gate, and he's doing a few last minute adjustments on the goat saddles. And when you meet with him, he says to the three of you, he says, "Have any of you ridden a war goat before?"
It's been some time for me. I do not know of the others.
They can be a little ornery. These three are very well trained, though. Well, you still have to ride them. I'm sure everything will be fine. And he looks at you, Baron, and he says, "Do you need a hand getting?" Because
A dwarf does not need the help. I will get up on my own.
Baron, he was simply being
offense,
polite.
Majesty.
Yes, he was being polite, Baron. Please.
It's all
I
right.
like to imagine Baron being like, "No, I don't need help," and he just like,
Stumbles his way through it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's up to Dan. How does that go? So is it just pride, or are you like actually capable of getting up on this one yourself?
Luckily, a goat is not that bad for a dwarf, so I'm able to climb up. But I struggle a little bit to get my leg over the top. But once I do, I'm good, and I sit upright and I look prideful back at Plum. I'm like, I got it.
Yeah, he gives you a little salute, and he says to you, Zafira, "Where should we begin?"
Perhaps you're the one that should answer that. We only know that they're in the mountains. We need to do some reconnaissance. Luckily, Velimir is an expert scout, as we've seen in the past couple of days. It's up to the two of you.
Okay. He kind of squints, like he's got his hand up to block the sun, and he looks and he says, "If we ride straight for the hills through these farms, we should be there before noon, and we could just begin looking around. There are caves dotting the whole hillside. We've never gone directly out there. You see the villages, it's our purview. We take care of the fields and the farms. But if that's what you want to do, we could also stop along the way. There's if we go that way," and he points, he says, "There's a field there. We could talk to the farmers. They've had troubles with these creatures in the past if you want to ask them more specific questions."
That might be wise. The only thing we know is that these creatures do not come out during the days, so we should use that to our advantage. If we are going to be doing scouting, we should scout the outskirts of the mountains, of the caves, during the day.
Yeah, he smiles at you like, "Yeah, you're good at this. Damn. All right."
"Damn, I wish I thought about that." Huh.
Well, it's more like, yeah, he's just like, he recognizes you doing your thing, like being capable, and he nods and he says, "Very well, magistrates, let's go," and spurs his war goat, and they head off.
Do they let out a mighty bleat?
Oh yeah, hells yeah, they're just like, yeah, definite bleeding going on. Yep.
I like to imagine like a bleat. It sounds different because it's a war goat,
Totally, yeah. Take
What's
a regular
war goat look like? I mean, like
Take a
what makes it
regular-
war goat?
Take a regular goat and like pitch its bleeding down. This is all low and
Just
impressive.
a little bit, yeah.
It's
A little more.
Yeah, a war
Got it.
goat is like a musclier, like a male goat with the big horns.
Yeah.
And they're trained to fight, right? They're trained not to be scared of things like fire and shouting, and they're trained to be obedient, or more obedient at least.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep, they're bred for battle. So you ride off on these war goats, and the next scene we get a wipe to later in the day. You're out in a field, approaching one of these stilted huts, and there's like maybe like a half dozen people, men, women, children, out in the farmland, and they are they're just tending to the field. All the planting has been done already, so they're just making sure that it's safe and like clearing it of bugs and stuff. So when you approach, there's this old woman in a big farmer hat. who's kind of stopped and like stood up, just like crooked spine from years of bending down in the fields as you come up. And who approaches first? You let Sorrowful Plum
Yeah,
approach?
I would think Plum probably does this stuff because he either
So-
knows these people or people will know him.
A recognizable, sight.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And we're
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
there when he approaches, but we're not doing the initiating.
Yeah. So he rides up and they have a short conversation. He introduces. He doesn't introduce himself because she recognizes him, and you get the impression listening to them talk they're related in some way. He's calling her auntie. And after they have a short conversation, she's like, these are magistrates. They've come from the court. They're looking into the missing people. If they have, they might have questions for you. Please answer them honestly. And she's basically like, be quick. I have farming to do. And he looks at you sort of apologetically, but says, this is Auntie. We don't remember her name. She's been in the village forever. She's a bit, and he like taps his ear, like a little deaf, and says, but she has a good memory and should be able to tell you anything that you need to know. Like gestures, like you can go ahead and talk to her.
Baron, you're the best with people amongst the three.
Hello, madam. My name is Baron, and I'm a magister. Can you tell me, have you seen these creatures that have been attacking?
Yeah, she gives you a long look and kind of smiles, and she's got like 2 teeth left, like just one here and one here. And she like gives this like grin, and she's like, Baron, was it?
Yes.
Hill folk, huh? Like looks you up and down. I knew a hill folk man once. Handsome he was. Haven't thought about him in a while. Like strokes her chin. Creatures, though. Creatures you're looking for. They came, stole bags of my rice at first. And then one of my grandchildren went missing. And first I thought they ran away. Go to the city. Become a magistrate, maybe. But they didn't come back. I have lots of grandchildren, so I didn't think about it much after that.
When was the last time they've stolen something?
And she's like, while she's talking, she's like playing with this like really long hair that's sticking out of a mole on her chin. And she's like, last time any of us saw them, maybe 4 or 5 nights ago. More lately. This year has been a bad year. Something south driving them north. They don't live in this part of the area. I've seen these things before.
So these creatures normally stay away from your town?
Yes, they're cowards. I mean, you would be too if you were this big.
Do they have a name by any chance? What do you call these things?
Vermin? Menace? We've never needed a name for them before. They stay to their own. The goat riders keep them scared.
I step in and say, they took your rice, ma'am?
She nods. Yes, 2 whole bags of it.
Is this
Shameful.
something that is common amongst all of the other farmers?
Yes, they steal whatever is not hidden away.
Is there anything in
Rice,
particular that they
children.
steal more than others?
No, tools sometimes.
Has anyone seen them coming or going? Do you know what direction they come from?
She says, they only one way they could come. Points up at the hills. Used to be when I was a girl, there was a clan of your people that lived up there. Kept them away. Protected us. The village never appreciated it, but I appreciated them. Yes, I did. She like
here again.
trails off looking romantically at the hills.
I mean, Velmir's just,
I believe she had sex with the dwarven people, Velmir.
Yeah, I'm picking up on that. Is there any? So the last time something was stolen was, you said 4 or 5 days ago?
She nods and points south, and she's like, that farm, they had one of their young goats go missing.
Has anyone here seen a creature, like actually seen it?
She says, I did. And My grandniece too, and points at a teenage girl who's like kneeling in the bent over in the field. We saw them, small things, reddish, tufts of fur. One of them had wings, great leathery bat wings, hideous little things.
Was this thing able to fly?
She nods.
This does
And-
not sound like the things we've encountered before. They did not have wings, from what I remember.
Perhaps we were simply fighting the grunts, the scouts, if you were. You should know
Yeah.
that.
Could be a more advanced form of the creature, for all we know. How many of these things would you say there are? Are there many? Are there a few? Do you have any idea of their numbers?
What is the biggest number that you have seen steal, or the number of things stolen in one night? Surely a creature of that size can only carry a handful.
Yeah, she nods and points a knobby finger at you. She's like, "You're a clever one. There must be many of them because these bags of rice, they're heavy. I know. I can still carry them, but that's because I'm strong. Very heavy. Heavier than a child. And more valuable, too. I can't make rice. I can't make children now either, but you know what I mean."
I turn to the mountains with my hands on my hips and say, I am not liking this information. I do not know if this is a mission worth following anymore, but we'll continue and see what else we can find.
We should at least scout the area and see what we can find out.
You know, something that would be interesting. Ma'am, thank you so much for your help. We appreciate the information. If we have any other questions, we will certainly seek you out.
Yeah, she bows and she says to you, Baron, she says, "If you need a soft bed to rest in, priest," and she gestures back at the hut. She's like, "Mine is the softest in all the land."
Baron has unfortunately done away with the sexual impulses in his life, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for the offer, but
She laughs. She laughs at you. Yeah, she laughs when you say that, and she's like, "Oh, I've defrocked a priest or two in my day."
Velimir looks directly at Baron and says, like, now remember, temperance.
Aaron's just a little red in the face, trying to
Yeah.
keep his cool.
So, as you're gonna leave to head for the mountains, like head up for the
Well,
hills.
as she either says thank you or walks away or something, perhaps we should buy some rice and set traps around the farms at least for a day and see if we can capture or either maybe weaken the forces of what we're about to fight. I could perhaps help Velimir make these traps. He could teach Plum the ways as well.
Yeah.
Thinking maybe make traps, capture some of them to gain more information.
Yeah, I do not know if these things speak our tongue, but if we can kill them here, then it's much better if we're fighting them up there.
But at
One more-
least in the numbers.
Yes.
One more question, ma'am. How often do they steal? How long between thefts are there?
She shakes her head. "I don't know. They haven't stolen from me in some time."
Would you say there's days, weeks between these thefts of people or objects?
When you're as old as I am, the days all blend together. For all I know, the last attack could have been 10 years ago. I don't keep track of these things. Only
Ma'am,
the season.
You do keep track of the seasons. How many times were they attacking during last harvest?
They've only attacked recently, not since the harvest. They've been going after our stores. It makes me worried for when we have to harvest all of this. How many bags will they steal then?
Hopefully none, and that is why we are here.
She nods.
Again,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for the information.
I turn and say, I believe the traps would be a good start.
Yeah. Chances are they might even come very soon, for all we know.
What
Perhaps
time of the day is it right now?
it's pretty early, right? Pretty early.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
still
morning.
pretty early. It's like before
It's not
lunch.
coming anytime soon.
Yeah, I think we perhaps we should spend the day setting traps, warn the local farmers to not go out tonight, stay inside, and see what we catch. It's only a day. We could still journey into the mountains tomorrow.
Very well. I think
Yes.
he's wise.
Now, Velimir, how did you set these traps? And I kind of walk over to him and have him build one in front of me and Plum.
Yeah, so Velimir, what's the plan here? So you've got this kind of westernmost farm that you're on right now. You can see the hills. There's basically nothing but farmland between you and where the terrain starts to rise into these foothills. So you're pretty close to the danger zone to begin with. And the area around here is all marshy because it's all like farmland, like rice farmland. So there's all this marshy land around. And then there's the hut up on its stilts, and then underneath the hut they have like a net. They have netting, and in the netting they have some storage. So like bags of rice that are dried for when they don't have like for winter, basically for the season of water, and some other materials they've got stored under there, dried fish, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that net is accessed from inside the house, so you'd pull open a trapdoor and reach in and like grab stuff from their little like hanging pantry. So yeah, if the creatures were going to steal something, they'd have to climb up the stilts and then either cut the net or steal stuff out of it and then scramble away with it. So what do you want to do? What do you want to set up?
So this netting's like affixed to the house underneath it, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. How far away is like the road, or like is there a road in between like the hut and the hill where they'd be coming from?
No, there's no road that leads out into the hills.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the main road that you came up on, and then little splinter roads that aren't really roads; they're just paths of like raised dirt that aren't flooded between the different farms. They all can converge back on the road to head back into town.
Mm-hmm. All right, Velimir just like says to the others, perhaps we take like a bag of rice, make it seem as though somebody was transporting it, and something happens to them, and if they can spare one bag of rice, make it look like it was like like tracks, like someone just was in a hurry and dashed away. So there's a trail like of just like rice, and like they tried to drag the bag back to where it was from to kind of lead them to the source of the rice, and then set around traps around the hut, or at least make it seem like it's easy to get easy access to the net, like someone forgot, or like there's a like an opening in the netting, to kind of funnel them through, and then set traps accordingly around this pathway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So why don't we get you to make a roll for that to set your traps? It's gonna be a survival roll.
Okay.
And if you want to spend,
should we use inspiration on this?
Inspiration.
What do you think, Max? Are you feeling it? I feel like we've rolled so terribly today that something's got to give.
Since you're helping him, he'll roll for advantage anyways, right?
I feel like
Oh yeah, could we?
gotten our bad rolls out of the way, right? Of course.
Adam, since I'm helping him, do we get advantage? Maybe.
Do you have training in this skill, this ability? Do you have survival?
I do. I have it checked. Yes.
Okay, then yeah, you can totally help.
Boom.
Yeah.
Let's fucking get that 20, Max. Roll it up.
Indeed.
Okay. I'll do guidance too for Temperance's help.
Okay.
Oh
Got
boy.
that D4. Don't suck.
Boy.
Do
All right,
it.
here we go. Boom.
Hey,
Ooh,
roll the
all right,
D4.
so
Let's see what we
16.
get.
Yeah, roll that D4.
Yeah.
Make it a 20. Oh, we got a fucking 20.
Awesome. Okay. Woo! All right.
Fucking
so
traps are goddamn so good.
they are good traps. All right. So so you set this trap, and what kind of trap is it? Is it like the same as before? Like you want to snag one and keep it alive, or like what's the scope of the trap here?
I think as we talked about before, we don't really suppose we can have some to keep them alive.
Well,
but
it's like the one that you used.
yeah, it's like the one that I used before.
like
It's
a snare. It's a snare. Yeah.
Snare, and completely.
We're not trying to like have two fucking pieces of wood smash their heads. We're trying to snare them.
Something super crazy, just a snare, and then we decide if we want to kill them or not.
All right. So let's see if these little dummies are smart enough to avoid your. No, they're not. I got a 6 and a -1.
Yes.
So
Well, they're not that intelligent, so
yeah,
plan is
not that
working.
fast. So you're taken up into the house, and that's where you spend your night. And once it gets dark, all the family comes in. It's real crowded. There's like 20 people up in this like one room. It's where they sleep and eat, and Auntie makes a meal for everybody. So you get some like rice porridge and dried fish And you
sitting on Baron the entire night.
Yeah, I mean, I think she basically is just like friendly with Baron the whole time, but
Yeah,
isn't real pushy. She's just like,
Give him an extra piece of dried fish.
yeah. She at some point, Baron, she's like, I remember a song I learned in the language of your people, and she sings you this like just incredibly dirty like limerick, basically in Dwarven. And is very proud of herself for remembering that. And eventually, you all take turns. You take turns sleeping. Do you like, is someone on watch? Do you keep somebody up all night? Like, do you take turns like that, or what?
Yeah, we definitely do.
One of us is always keeping an ear out when watching the traps as well.
Okay, sure. So in the middle of the night, then I think it doesn't really matter who's awake at the time, but there's a noise from under the hut. There's like a snapping sound and some like squealing, and your trap has been sprung, Velimir. So what are you gonna do?
Do we only hear one?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess this is Velimir's watch, not my watch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's say Velimir's.
I'm not going to meta it then. Do what you want.
Yeah. So Velimir, you hear your snare go off.
Okay. I get up and rouse the other two, at least amongst us.
Mm-hmm.
Say, the trap has gone off. Would you like to come down and check with me?
Perhaps we let the cry of this one bring more.
Not a bad idea. And then Velimir just goes back to his watch.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So you wanna wait. So there's quiet. Then just the sound of the little thing like making noise, and I think a couple of the farmers, like the kids, like wake up and kind of are like looking around nervously.
Velimir just like looks at them and he's just like, shh.
Yeah. And they just look terrified at you, like crawl back into their bed.
Go back to sleep.
Yeah, the fire monster is telling me to go back to bed. So they go back to sleep too. And
perhaps you should make sure there's actually a creature in there. That's what we're looking for. Like, check the trap.
Recognize this yelping for is what it was before.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty familiar.
Okay. Velimir's just keeping watch too of the traps to see if more come.
Okay. So you want to actually go and take a look?
Yeah.
I mean, with his position, like Velimir's held up, what, inside the plate in the hut?
Yeah, you're inside. You can't see you can't see because it's underneath the house.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess Velimir can. It's dangerous though. Velimir's gonna wait and listen a little bit inside the hut. He's just gonna be keenly, like ear pressed against, whatever he's got to do to be aware. He's just keeping his senses very acute.
Sure, yeah, over by the window and listening. Okay. So yeah, I guess by the door. Yeah. So you're over by the door, and you can hear this like squeaking noise, and it kind of dies down, and then like maybe like 20 minutes, half an hour later, you hear more until it sounds like there's probably a half dozen down there. And you can hear them scratching, like they're climbing up the stilts of the house, or climbing along the netting. There's definitely like noise of these creatures under the house, and by now, like it's enough sound to have woken up like most of the people, and they're all looking like really scared now because they can hear these like monsters under their house.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all awake at this point?
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yeah. We need to take them out from range. I have a hand axe. I didn't restock in javelins. Perhaps your bow. We could sit here and pick them off one by one. I do not think we should go out there.
No, I don't think so as well.
Perhaps, speaking out of character, we're in a house, right? Could we sit on top of this, or is it shoddy enough to where it would collapse?
So the house is, imagine like an A shape. And the house is the triangle of the A, and the legs are the stilts. Underneath the little triangle area, there's that netting, the sort of hammock that's holding all the storage. These creatures are climbing up and around on the netting underneath. You can lift a trapdoor in the middle of the floor of the house and look down, and you can see the storage. So if they're like crawling around in there, but that might let them into the house. The snare is like underneath the house, so one of them is like hanging from the bottom.
I think we open the trap door. It's a way that we could funnel it. If one gets in, we could shut it. The villagers will be here as fodder. Like, I think we open the trap door and just look.
Like peer out. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Zafir, you don't have dark vision. So
I'd
be doing this.
Open the door, Villamir, and I get my weapon out.
I need to roll stealth for this, like, or I mean, I'm just
yeah, I mean, do you want to be stealthy? Do you want to like open it just a little bit, or do you want to like?
Yeah, I guess it would make sense to roll stealth.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna try to be quiet about it. So make a stealth test first.
Hey, 15.
Okay. All right. I will see if they notice you.
If these
peering down
motherfuckers, Adam.
No. No,
Ooh,
they got a 1, so they definitely don't notice you. You like purely the thing open. Can you make a perception check now, please?
Sure.
And before you roll it, this is going to be because it's dim light. This is at disadvantage. So you can, if you want, you can spend your inspiration to make it a regular roll. But yeah, you'll have to take the worst of the two.
Sure.
It's up to you.
Okay. All right. So you get a 7. So you're only able to make out, like, they're small and they're moving. And you're looking through netting, so you can see that there's like at least a half dozen of them. Most of them are like climbing around on the netting. One of them seems to be cutting his friend free. He's got a little dagger and he's like chopping away at it. The other 5 or 6, they're cutting at the net. And if they manage to cut it open, the net will break on one side, and all the shit that's there, like the barrel with the fish and a bunch of the rice, will all fall into the water, and then they'll probably try to make off with something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I want to light it on fire.
I really, yeah. You're telling me this is what Valmir's wanted to do, just blow everything. Like,
The thing is we'd be destroying the house, but man, I really want to light it on fire.
Lighting the building on fire we're currently in seems like a bad idea.
You're not wrong, but man,
You're
it
both
would
currently
really-
in, and it's
Let me ask you something, Adam.
full of the.
How much does it cost to make a new hut, a new rice field? How much does it cost to make a new hut? For these people?
I don't know. It depends on how fancy you want the hut to be. This hut is.
What kind of hut are we in? Like, to replicate this hut, how much money would it cost?
Uh,
that much?
No, probably like 50 gold maybe for a hut like this.
We don't have 50 gold.
No.
Damn it.
You were. Let me just say this: you're well within your legal right in the pursuit of your duty to both burn the hut and kill everyone inside if you deem it necessary. No one will arrest you for this if you decide to do it. Auntie will be sad and probably on fire and dead.
That's not what I'm saying.
We should maybe just start taking shots.
I think we should start killing.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you don't have a clear shot at any of them though, because you're above the cargo and they're below it. So you'd be shooting like past rice bags and like trying to hit them on the other side of the net.
This is kind of like the lion's share of cargo, right?
Yeah, it's all their storage. It's the family storage.
We cut the net and drop it on them.
That's what. Well, it's in the water.
What kind of? Oh, right. So this is like, these are like rice fields, like with rice paddies and stuff. So it's all like watery and right.
Mm-hmm.
Fire wouldn't really be an option. Damn it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like shooting like a napalm fireball or whatever to like kind of block them.
Yeah.
So where's the door to the hut in position to like where these creatures are like going after the nets?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bad drawing for you.
Okay.
If you look in Roll20, you can see my terrible little drawing. All right, so the pink thing is the hut. The pink thing is the hut, and the green thing is the net underneath the hut holding all the cargo. Y'all are in the hut here, PCs, and then there's like a door here with a ladder that goes down. Everything down here is all like marshy.
Yeah.
So those little red X's are the little creatures crawling all over the underside of the hut, like cutting.
How many are down there?
What they at least a half dozen, probably more. And what they want to do is, cut the net so that one side falls, all the crap falls on the ground, and then they'll just steal a bunch of it and run off. While the other one is like freeing his buds.
Do we just go outside and fight? I don't know.
I think we should. We should just go out and kill them if we can.
It's such an awkward angle though, because they're underneath the hut.
It's like we
And it's difficult
down
terrain,
from
yeah.
the hut, I mean, we can try our best to stealth, but if you fail those stealth checks,
Well, Baron is going to be rolling at what, disadvantage for that
Yeah,
probably?
because of my armor.
Yeah.
yeah. Or I mean, what's the alternative? What, we stay here, let them steal everything?
Yeah.
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 This whole thing was worthless.
Yeah, so I think we really only have one choice. Is to go
Well,
down there.
the other thing about if you let them steal shit, they'll steal it and take it somewhere. So you could potentially follow them, I guess, is the other option there.
How deep is the water below this place? Like, it's knee height, right?
Yeah,
Not
it's
even.
probably-
It's
yeah,
like ankle height, maybe a little higher
foot, I
for
would think, yeah.
yeah.
I think, what if I, shit, I'm not gonna be able to see anything if I go down there. I was gonna say, what if we just cut everything and then jump down and start fighting, but I'm not gonna be able to see shit.
Yeah, you need a torch, which I assume somebody has.
Yeah, and if I put that down, I lose 2 AC.
That's true.
And so will Dan. And Max will
So
lose
they're
11.
they're sawing away at this thing.
Yeah. Well, we have a fourth guy. Okay, so I hand Plum a torch and say, keep this with you and stay close to me. And then I tell Vesemir, Jesus, Velimir.
It's spreading.
Yeah, it is spreading. I tell Velimir, go down stealthily. We will follow right after you. And then if he gets down stealthily, well, that's what I say. What do you say to that?
Yeah. We should probably just drop off behind them into the on the ground, and then just start fighting them, and have Plum hold the light for you.
So the plan is to wait. Are we illuminating the area? Like, I'm gonna go down stealth.
Plum is bringing down a torch. Yes,
Don't we have like bug thing torch thingies?
we do.
Yeah,
we got
do.
3 of those.
Little
I forgot
bug
about
bombs.
that. Fuck it, we could just throw it at him.
No, they don't last that long, but that's certainly
They give advantage, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck. Throw one. I'll jump down. We'll fight that one, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you want me to stealth? I could stealth down before that, though, or at least try to.
Yeah, see if you could stealth down. If not, then
Because then we have like some sort of advantage where hopefully they don't notice me. If they do, then just fucking everything goes, and you guys just like game on. You know what I mean?
yeah.
All right, let's do it.
And right before we jump, I will go ahead and cast Bless on all of us.
Okay. All right. Well, let me move you over. Let me move you over to. I've got a little swampy battle area set up here that I can put you on. Now, because we're all seeing
that picture.
because we're all seeing Zafira's point of view. Welcome to the darkness, Zafira.
Yeah. Well, we have a torch.
Yeah, I'll add a soldier here for you with a torch. Let me grab a token for old Plummy here. And once we have him, I'll give him a torch. Everybody else should be able to see using their dark vision. So let's see. The other thing too is that the kobolds have dark vision too. So just keep in mind that they've got a less limited version of visibility than you have. Ah, there we go. Okay, so torch.
I do want to call. We're just gonna open this fight up with the comment: 6 fucking kobolds, and they are making a battle plan for a dragon. When we're all dead in the next hour, that guy can fucking go eat a dick.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're level 1. Clearly, we've proven that.
And these guys get group tactics too if there's more.
Exactly right, and they have low light vision. They're already on the ground. Yeah, suck a dick.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So these are the creatures. Y'all should be able to see them.
Yep.
The triangle or the square is the hut above you. So just remember that's like 10 feet above. And then there's a ladder on this side right here, or on the left. Okay, so let's roll some initiative, shall we?
Let's take a break before.
Yeah, you want to take a break? Okay,
Because
cool.
otherwise, well, let's roll initiative and then we'll take a break because we got a couple
Yeah, that sounds
minutes.
good.
Okay.
Should I roll my stealth check as well?
Yeah. So is he? Because we want to do a stealth check for him to get down there first.
You'll do your stealth on. You're already stealthed, right? You're being sneaky. They haven't noticed you
That's
yet.
right,
We
I
can
rolled
we can roll stealth on your turn if you're gonna move. That'll be part of your action.
Yeah.
Okay. So initiative. Dan, after you. Oh, you rolled a 15. Not bad.
Yeah, Baron's got a 15.
I want to remind you guys too that if shit goes south, we can always just leave these people.
21.
Nice.
Nice, good work.
Click my little guy and then initiative. Boop.
15.
Hey.
Plum,
2.
Plum's
Fuck,
got a
I got
2.
Oh, that's a plum?
All
Yeah.
of them.
Plum's got a 2, which means the person at the front of the order has nothing. You have
I
to wait. He's carrying your torch.
So we see why he's called Sorrowful Plum.
Yeah, sad times, buddy. Sad times. Okay. So that's him. Let me just add in these little creatures here. Pop that out. There we go. And they're gonna go on. Boop, boop. Yeah, not bad. I got 15. Okay, cool. So we're all set to go on initiative.
Fantastic. I can't wait to.
Are you going to roll your stealth?
There we go.
Oh. Do I roll it before or?
So explain to me, so what is, like, if your plan is just for you to move stealthily outside, then cool. You can do that.
Yeah,
Basically-
he's wanting to get out. Well, Max, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm wanting to get out. I'm assuming out the door or somewhere, where it would be, if it's possible, to have an elevated position from the hut. To
How about this? Everybody who wants to, there'll be a potential surprise round.
Ooh.
Anybody who wants to participate in the surprise round can roll stealth to get outside sneakily before they notice you.
Sure.
I want to. Fuck. I guess I'll do it. Max, go ahead and make your roll first.
Don't leave me by myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm not going
Right.
to.
So stealth, right? We don't have any advantages or anything. You rolled blessed, didn't you?
That's what I'm doing. My first round is cast
Yeah.
bless everyone.
Okay, so for right now, all right, whatever. Just roll stealth. Whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18.
Okay. All right. So you got
14.
18. You got 14. All right. I'll roll to see if they will notice you, and we'll see if there's a surprise round or if they're ready for you when you come outside. Survey says no. Yeah. So you'll have a surprise round on them.
All right. When we come back, we'll
yay.
see how these kobolds fuck us up.
Things are coming at Millhouse. Maybe.
All right.
Maybe. I don't know. We're going to be fighting in the fucking darkness, so we'll see how it
Hard
goes.
for you.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back, guys. Hour
Stick
number 4,
around.
Court of Swords. Hour week 4 comes up. Hopefully we all don't die. We'll see you then. Look at this crazy little fucking guy that Adam has prepared for us. All right? Can we get a zoom in on that? Look at that fucking guy.
What is that?
It's the fucking final boss of a Zelda game right there. Christ almighty. All right. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you then.